I didn't put this in the video on Instagram, but because I thought my friends would think that I was like actually insane, which they probably, like when they listen to this podcast, they're going to be like, dude, like, what are you doing?
1, 2, 3, 4.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 120 of the On the Runs podcast, brought to you by Monday Night Media. Erika and I just got back from a run this evening, and it was muggy, but good news. I think she's feeling much better this week. 6-star Erika, what's up?
I am indeed feeling better, you guys. Much, much better. You can tell.
You hear that? That's her normal podcasting voice.
I got my radio voice back.
She's back.
For the most part. I'm like 95%. It's been lucky today. I have not really had a cough at all. And I was worried that after we ran, I would be hacking up a storm. And luckily that didn't happen. So I think I am on the mend, like fully on the mend.
You made a comment like 2 or 3 times during the run. I haven't coughed yet. I haven't coughed yet. I haven't coughed yet. Yeah, you're feeling better. You sound good.
I felt like I was pushing my luck out there, but yeah, we totally did it. We did it.
I'll tell you what, it lingered, I think, for a few days because you did something pretty awesome and I got to listen to it, but you still sounded sick the other day. Tell everyone what you did. You did something super cool. As we talked about a few episodes ago, you learned what a record button was. How did that evolve and expand?
Oh, you guys, you're going to hopefully love this. And if you don't tell me because it was stepping outside of my comfort zone. So I got together with a very special guest and we recorded without Eric for a good chunk of it. We recorded our own Olympic recap episode, which is going to drop this coming Thursday.
That's right.
It was so nerve-wracking. I had to kind of wing it, and I've learned from the best. Eric knows what he's doing, but it is not hard to run a podcast, you guys. Like,
wait, it sounded like you said it's not hard.
Did I say that? I meant it's hard to run.
I think you said it's not hard.
Okay, I meant to say it's hard to run a podcast on your own, especially when
Very safe.
I'm the co-host. Eric's the host. I'm the co-host. So
you did a great job. Like I see a future in editing podcasts because I had so much fun editing that podcast, that episode you did, which drops Thursday. But if you're a Patreon, you can go to our Patreon page and you can watch it. It's already there. I was like so more engaged listening because I wasn't there at all.
Mm-hmm.
I know you had a third special guest jump in. That was pretty cool. But what a fun thing to see you do. I did jump in the background in producer mode for like 15 minutes at the end, and I messed with you a little bit. You're like, what's going on?
Yeah, he was messing with our like titles on the screen. So, but it was a lot of fun to do that. But I have to say, I prefer to do the podcast thing with you.
Well, now we know, like, when I'm really sick or gone or something, you could do an episode. I'm not saying, like, every year. I'm saying maybe every other year.
If I'm like, say
I'm in Denmark or something for work, you can do it, and then I can just edit it and drop it, release it. Like, if I can't be in the same time zone at the same time, we're talking opposite ends of the world.
Mm-hmm.
You could host a podcast episode now for On the Runs.
I could, but of course, I'm much more comfortable with you around.
Cool. I'm glad you feel so much better. Thanks for going on a run with me. Or I should actually say,
thank you for coming with me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun. I've been crushing it.
I've been wanting to know how your marathon training's been going because you committed and you signed up for a race. So you're doing the Manchester City Marathon coming up in November.
Yeah, keep that on the DL.
Well, it's out there now. So now you got to do it. Oh, you got to do it. Yeah, you paid for it. So how's your training going?
Oh my God. Last week, what a killer week. Like, and Nicole even wrote about it in our little, she has this app, VO2 something. And wow, what a killer week. And I ended it like wicked strong. I ran with Sammy and we were freaking crushing it like 8:30s, which is wicked fast for me.
You can keep up with her?
I think she slowed down for me. Let's be honest.
Okay.
I had, you know who was pulling us through that run though? She brought Nala. We had a code brown.
Really?
We had a code. Yeah. Nala had a code brown.
Spare no details. Let's go.
It was, you know what? Kudos to Sammy. What a wonderful dog mom because she has the poop bags ready to go. And then she dropped it and says, I'm going to come back and get this. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah. I completely forgot about it. I'm following her back. We're leaving after a run. This was Friday morning. And then all of a sudden she pulls over on the side of the road for no reason. And in my peripheral vision, I see a poop bag. And I'm like, oh, she went back for the Code Brown.
She's one of the good ones. I know a lot of people who don't do that. Well, maybe not personally, but you see them everywhere.
Well, we go running, like even on the rail trail, we go running and we see poop bags on the side.
Yep.
And you know what? I hope that they come back for it. Like, yeah, sure, you don't want to run with the poop bag the entire time.
Of course.
But like, how are you going to come back in the middle of this section of the? I mean, maybe like they have these. Remember, we used to run all the time in Litchfield. We ran on Albuquerque. Like they have poop bag stations. So you grab a poop bag there and then you put it in the little poop bag trash can.
Yeah.
Rail trails have to have these somewhere, but you know.
I don't know. I feel like they're few and far between, at least on our rail trail. So.
Well, kudos to Sammy for picking up her dog's shit.
Definite kudos.
Yeah, it was a fun run, but I had a killer week. It's in the calendar, but I haven't signed up for the NH 10 miler because I'm waiting for that cheer practice. And I looked today and we have cheer choreography at 12 noon. So I have to figure out the logistics of that.
Okay. What time's the race start?
I think 8. So like, I know it's hilly. I just got to make sure logistics and everything work out with the kids. If I can't run the race, I think I'm still going to go there and run the 10 miles like later because like that's on my calendar. We're doing the NH10 miler. I said I want to do it. I'm attacking these hills ever since I started Mount Washington training, and I loved it. And I'm not scared of hills. What does Aaron Azar say?
Hills don't care about your feelings.
That's right. So I thought it was hills for breakfast, but that must be somebody else.
Everybody says that.
So anyways, I've been having a blast, and I ran a little extra today for you. I hope Nicole doesn't yell at me. I had 4
You can throw
on
me under the bus because I was like, nah, I want 5.
Yeah.
5 or
it was
nothing.
fun, though. It was muggy. I did not have an extra shirt. And then I realized I had a box of On the Runs t-shirts in the back of the van. So the On the Runs, I said van, I meant my truck.
I told you to go tarps off, man.
Right. Well, I know, but you wouldn't do it with me. So
I would have.
Yeah, right. So I realized, though, I had a box of all the On the Runs t-shirts in the back of my truck. And the problem was all these t-shirts they're unisex and they're a little bigger.
Oh, yeah.
So everyone who got a medium wanted a small. Everyone who got a large wanted a medium, and all the XLs wanted a large. And so I ended up with not enough smalls and way too many XLs. So I don't feel bad wearing this right now.
Extra. Yeah.
I'm just going to have to keep it for myself. Like I put this on all sweaty and stinky, and
Well, leave it in your truck for that. Yeah. That can be your emergency shirt.
I always have extra shirts in my bag. I just didn't have it today. Today was quite the Monday. So, but anyways, what a week we had last week. The podcast blew up.
I was so excited. And I absolutely went back the day it dropped and I re-listened to all the stuff that I missed after my
That's right.
I guess podcasting Code Brown with my power outage. So
That's right. I was, maybe I just didn't realize how I knew he had a huge following, but how like true they were and engaged. Like,
oh my God, yeah. It's so much discussion on his page on the clip
so
that
much
you
back
made.
and forth. One reel blew up like 60,000+ views. So that's cool. Sometimes we get 10,000. I'm like wicked excited. But this one it's over 60. But here's the most impressive stat. That reel generated over 70 followers on Instagram.
That's awesome.
And until last week, I think our most viewed reel, not by views by count, but by hours watching time, was this reel about Yuki when Eric tossed her the bag. And I put the video in there, and he tossed her the bag, and she's running with 20 medals over the Boston Marathon finish line.
Yeah.
I remember when I got a notification saying this reel has topped for like the most viewing hours, and it was over 20 hours.
That's
awesome. And I even sent
wow.
Yuki a message. I go, people have watched this for over 20 hours. Can you believe it? That's almost a day. That reel we posted of Andy has 100 more hours than Yuki's. It is over 126 hours of view time. That is days. People have watched that reel for days.
That's incredible.
That stat blew me away. What a cool week it was last week. What a cool week.
Definitely. Andy's such a cool guy, and he just ran Leadville like the other day, and he went and crushed it. I went on TikTok, which I never do, and I watched his long form video of his recap of Leadville, and it was really, really awesome. So if you guys haven't checked him out, follow him on all the socials. He's a really cool guy to follow, and he's sending all the right messages.
That's
Love
right,
it.
though, because on TikTok, he does the wicked long, like 10-minute long recaps.
Yeah, you can do the longer form, but he
Right.
also has like a YouTube channel. So he's got,
Yeah.
I think, even longer ones than that.
You know what else I loved?
Mm-hmm.
Our guest today.
I've been waiting for this one for so long. You guys are going to absolutely love him. If you don't already follow Wyatt Moss on Instagram, go follow him right now because he is going on these crazy adventures. He's like 22 years old, 23 maybe, I don't remember, but he is
Young pup.
hopping around trying to run 50 marathons in 50 states within this year. He's already more than halfway there, and he is just out having the time of his life. I have been following along because he's making awesome content. So make sure you go follow him. And I really hope you guys enjoy this episode. He was such a blast to talk to. He just had the infectious energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're going to love it. I mean, we talk about ribs and ice cream, waxing chest hair. It's awesome. It's
Yep.
awesome.
So
Tables,
cool.
we talk about wood tables. So you're going
We
to love
talk
it.
about a lot of
Yeah.
fun stuff in his
Yeah.
episode.
And not only that, he was on top of a roof with one of the sickest views in the background. So guys, go check it on YouTube too. But enjoy Wyatt Moss on the On the Runs podcast. Today's the greatest day ever, and our next guest on the pod is running a marathon in every state, every weekend during 2024. He's documenting it on social media while doing some wild challenges during his races, like eating ice cream, waxing his chest, and eating a full rack of ribs while being on the news. He has many more wild epicness to come, and we're going to hear all about it. He's coming to us from an MIT rooftop in Boston with the most sickest background of all time. We're wicked excited to welcome Wyatt Moss to the On the Runs podcast. What's up, dude?
Thank y'all for having me. This is awesome. A little bit
Oh,
of context. Erika and I, early this morning, were at the same race, which was not planned whatsoever, but we were doing a pretty cool thing there that we can talk about in just a second.
By the way, I'm sorry if I ruined the video that you were taking because I had no idea you were there, and I just went, Wyatt, holy shit, or something. So apologies if
It made it better. It made it so much better.
Well, that makes me feel better, but we are super pumped to have you here, especially after our epic adventure this weekend. We will talk more about that, but if you are anything as tired as me, way to go for being awake right now.
Sometimes it's really hard to get Erika to respond to us during a race like that, 100-miler and something. It's like, get content or get this, send us a message, just do whatever. And she goes radio silent, and all of a sudden, like, you just sparked her. She sends us a message right away. Wyatt's here. Oh, my God. And we just started, like, finding you on social media. And she's like, I want to get... Sometimes we have some great guests, but only a few of you have gotten Erika really excited. They all seem to have one thing in common. Maybe this is a sign, Erika, but they all have a mustache, and they're pretty epic mustaches.
Well, the mustache doesn't hurt, but it helps when I find people who do the same stupid shit as I do. So I was running Flying Pig when I first saw all of your stuff pop up with the rack of ribs, and I was like, this guy's awesome! Because I did a video of me eating all the aid station stuff, like the bacon, but
Yeah.
cannot imagine doing that with an entire rack of ribs. Like, that was a hot day. It was gnarly, and oh my God, I probably would have Ralphed on the side of the road.
It's kind of funny. So for that marathon, I think that was like number 19 for the year. And I wanted to do something that was kind of like stand out. I came up with the idea on the drive up. And so it was like 9:30. I was driving my sister's car because it was big enough for me to actually sleep in the car. And so then, because I was like trying to save money, when I get there, right before they closed, I went to this like the famous place in Cincinnati for a rack of ribs. And it just sat in my car all night with like bags of ice. So it was not fresh whatsoever. So on top of like it being 5 pounds of ribs just like sitting in my stomach like a brick, it was just cold and, you know, a couple like 12 hours old. It was just quite the experience.
That makes it an even better story. But yeah, we'll dive into that shortly. But we gotta get to know you a little bit better. So what got you into this whole running situation in the first place? Like, did you grow up running? Did you do any kind of sports or were you always just into the crazy shit?
Yeah, let's go back to day one.
Yeah.
Where are you
We
from?
want to know more.
Like when you came out of the birth canal, where are you from? And tell us all about yourself.
Okay, so born and raised near Atlanta, down in Georgia, and I absolutely love it in the Southeast. But when I was in high school, I just decided, kind of jumping a little bit far there, but I just decided that I was gonna apply to schools outside the U.S. just to see like if I could make something work.
Cool.
And so then that's what kind of started this like adventure side to myself, was that most of my childhood I was kind of not shielded, but just I didn't put myself out there. So then I get to senior year of high school, I just apply on a whim and start this like adventure side of my my character, that type of thing. And I got accepted to this school called King's College over in London. And so that's like the start of my journey, because most everything that I've done, all like the 50 states in 50 days, the 50 states marathon challenge, crossing America on a penny farthing bike, which I don't think y'all even know about that one.
No.
Like all these like ventures stemmed from going to school over in London. And long story short there, I flew out. I did my first semester of college during COVID, and I was living on a couch because like it was difficult to get housing. I didn't have my visa in time because of COVID and like all these little details. I ended up flying back home and like ended up dropping out of school. And because I was no longer in school, like that's where the story starts. It's like, what am I supposed to do to make up for the fact that I'm not taking the typical path?
Gotcha.
And so all these ideas came into my head. I was like, well, social media is one way that people succeed nowadays. Why don't I try to do something like that for myself? So in the first venture that we did, my buddies and I went to all 50 states in 50 days. And like we ended up eating Chipotle in every state. We got a sponsorship from them. It was absurd, like, going from like dropping out of college to doing all like this venture out of nowhere, like 6 months later. And that got me hooked on like this adventure lifestyle.
That is wicked cool. Do I have to ask, which New Hampshire Chipotle did you eat at?
Can I take a guess?
Yeah.
I'm going to guess Nashua just because it's the gate city right over the border.
Probably. I honestly don't remember. That whole, 50 days when I was doing that road trip was an absolute blur. We were driving like 6 hours a day. It smelled so bad in that van because there's two buddies of mine and I, and like it was just the worst situation to enjoy the U.S. Like there's not enough time to actually stop anywhere, but
I can see that. Yeah, you want to be able to travel and spend time where you're going, but at least with your new venture with the marathons, that's kind of a good way to sightsee in certain places. So I like that idea.
Hey, random question about the Flying Pig Marathon. That is in Cincinnati, Ohio. You do not count that as Kentucky, right?
I count that as Ohio.
Yes, correct.
I've been proved wrong. I thought you could do either because you go into two states depending on which one you want. But Jared, correct.
I'm just building up more and more people here to tell you, Erika, that no, you are wrong. That's an Ohio marathon. You can't count it.
I always tell you when I'm wrong. I'll admit it. I don't like to pretend when I'm right. I mean, I will think I'm right, but I will admit when I'm wrong.
It's kind of funny. There were 3 marathons that have started in Kentucky this year. And so Kentucky's a popular place because West Virginia, I forget what it's called, the Hatfield-McCoy Marathon. It starts in Kentucky and ends in West Virginia. And then you have the Two Rivers. That's the one that I ran for Kentucky.
Okay.
Then Cincinnati. And like, so there's a couple that start there and then leave Kentucky.
It is interesting. I haven't done an actual Kentucky one, so I'm going to pick your brain later about what your favorite marathons are, because I have a quest to do the same thing, but I just have a much longer timeline than you do.
Which is so much better. Like going for most of the marathons, which I don't know if y'all have mentioned it for the viewers or not, but like this year I'm trying to do a marathon every single weekend in a different state. So then
it just blows my mind.
The difficult part is like, when I fly out, I run, and then I fly back like 3 hours later. So most of the time, I never actually get to see the city outside of like the 26 miles that I'm running and the Uber drive to the airport.
Oh my gosh.
We'll get into.
I will say I've done that one time, and I have vowed never again because it is truly not enough time to really relax, enjoy your accomplishment, and get clean. So we'll have to learn
for sure.
Yeah, we'll have to
Oh,
learn
yeah.
your secrets about what you do and all that
Or
stuff
what you don't
after.
do.
Okay.
That's where we
Well,
say
yeah.
spare no
Yeah, yeah.
details. What time frame? What year are we talking? You decided to go on all these adventures. You went across. You went and studied abroad, and then you came back. What time frame is this?
So I graduated high school in 2020, started college then, came back home in 2021. And so that started the whole, 50 States in 50 Days challenge was the summer of 2021. And so then every single year, I like to do like stemming from 2021, I like to do an event that defines the year. And so then 2021 was, 50 States in 50 Days. 2022 was the college tour. A huge failure. I tried to go to 100 colleges throughout the U.S., similar
Wow.
to the 50 states, but I was doing it by myself, and it's supposed to be 100 colleges in 100 days, and it just didn't end up working out. It was still a great experience.
What was the goal of that? Were you going to go party at 100 colleges or take a class, go and eat in the calf? Where'd you go
Honestly,
in New Hampshire?
Any of those things individually would have been incredible. I was too ambitious. I was like, oh, I'll do all of it. I'll go, to a class. I'll, go to a party that night. I'll do this, that, and the other, film, video. And the reality of the situation never really hit me because that was when I kind of learned, ideas aren't reality. You have to actually put a plan together, resources, a team. You can't just do something by yourself.
Right.
So then that one was kind of a failure. The idea was just to record the experience of the school. That way I could show people what it's like before they go to college.
That's awesome.
It was a lot of fun. And I still might try to figure a way to make it work. But 2023, so last year during the summer, was biking across the U.S. on a penny farthing. And that I didn't even post. I posted 2 videos from that just because I was so focused on just biking across the U.S. that I never even posted the videos.
Oh, really? So you completed it though, right? Did you?
I started in Los Angeles, and it was a play on words of this challenge that a big YouTuber named Ryan Trahan did called the Penny Challenge. So every mile that I would bike on this penny farthing, which if you don't know what it is, look it up. It's a 7-foot tall bike with one super large wheel up front.
Oh my God, the old timey bike
old bikes.
thing.
Yeah. So the idea was okay, if he did Crossing America on a penny, he started with a penny, traded it for a pen, $1, up to a house or up to a plane ticket or whatever it is. He started in LA and got over to North Carolina. I was I'll do the same thing except on a penny farthing, Crossing America on a penny farthing. And so once again, ideas meet reality. I just didn't think about the whole experience. And so I spent most of the time just biking on this 7-foot tall bike. And to spare a complex explanation, I get over to Nashville, and I'm about to head out to the final state, and it's a beautiful night. There's deer running on the side of the highway, on this road, and sun setting, and then I just the sign on the side of my wheel just catches the tire, and I just hit the pavement.
Oh my
And
God!
I broke my wrist. I fractured this one. There's a scar on my face now. It just completely ruined the whole series.
Oh no!
I was right there at the end of it, and then it just ended.
That's awful. All right, I have a follow-up question. Where the hell did you find that bike?
There's a guy who makes custom bikes. I spent way too much money on it for the idea. And that's the other thing I found is buying the equipment is just step one, right? There's a 99 other steps. And so this is a very encouraging thing for to be on this podcast is incredible for me because y'all are established. This is not a first episode, you've had some incredible guests before. And so then it takes time to build that. Most people just buy the equipment
Eric
for podcasting.
Knows.
Yeah. Most people will just buy the equipment and then assume that's all it takes. But there's so much after you get the equipment. And that's what I had to learn is I bought this bike, but the video editing, the filming, the storyline, everything that goes along with doing the thing. And I'm still learning that this year with the 50 States Marathon Challenge. So, but that's the one for this year, 2024.
Let me tell you about my friend Ryan Van Duzer. Have you ever heard of Ryan Van Duzer?
Not yet.
He's a YouTuber. He's an awesome guy. Lives in Boulder, Colorado, and he bikes everywhere. And he would always try to get that content out right away on his adventures. And eventually, when he biked across America with his girlfriend Allie one day, he made a series called Love Cycles. It's like 28 episodes. And we're not talking like mini, we're talking like 25-minute episodes that he made on YouTube. And eventually, at one point, he just went on Instagram and he says, I'm not going to stop filming, but I'm going to stop editing. And then he will go home after the adventure and he'll edit the whole thing and piece it together and then drop the series, one episode every a couple days or something early for his Patreons. Ever since that moment, that's what he's done. And he has been able to enjoy the adventure and not rush getting the content out. Because he would say, we might bike 6 days a week. On the 7th day, he's like in the hotel or in some cafe editing all day, the entire week's worth of rides, and missing out on going and sightseeing with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
So you're going to continue to learn as you go. And that's just my little piece of advice. And the podcast piece that I tell everybody is everyone can start a podcast. But what are you going to talk about on episode 17? You need to have a plan. And you can't just come up with a plan like that and it's going to work your first time. You're going to have failures or you're going to have mistakes and you're going to learn. And that's what you're doing, dude. You're experiencing it. That's so cool to hear, like, the challenges you're going through all these experiences. And the school thing was a failure, but maybe you bring it back one day and you figure it out. That would be so cool.
Yeah. There's so many interesting life lessons to be learned because it applies to podcasting. It applies to every other aspect of life. If it worked out, what would I be doing, 17 weeks into this job or 17 dates into this relationship?
Mhm.
Whatever that number is, it's like, if it actually works, because most people are always thinking on the opposite side, like, what if it doesn't work? Or like, what if it did? What would I be doing if it worked out? So that's cool that you bring that point up.
Yeah.
That's always the big question too. What if?
Yeah,
You
what
have
if?
nothing to lose to try.
One other thing I noticed of you, Wyatt, and I'm super impressed and envious. Like, I saw this and I was like, okay, I like this guy. Because Erika found you. She starts sending me all this stuff. Just randomly on your story, you were talking to the camera. You're like, we're going to do this. We're going to make this happen. And it just showed that you had this desire and drive to make it happen. And it seems with the marathons, I'm learning a lot about you right now with your past challenges. But it seems like with that, you have the plan. You know what you're doing. You know where you're going to be next weekend. You got it all figured out. And as long as you stay consistent and you keep going and you got a calendar planned out, you were right. You were going to do this. And I loved your drive there that you had and just your confidence in yourself, dude.
Now the hard part is mobilizing people.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I'm learning from the marathons.
Trying
the
to
greatest lesson is, like, in every single personal record that I've set, I've run next to someone that I've either met that day or, like, a good friend of mine. And we've had an incredible conversation while running, and then I've set a PR. And it's not about my race. It's like, how can I be a part of someone else's race? In life as well. Like, when you mobilize people, you bring people together, crazy things happen that you never knew were possible. I didn't think that I could do like a 3:21 PR, for my marathon, like 6 months or 3 months into my marathon career. But, that's what happened. Strictly because I found someone at the start line and I was like, hey, let's just run together. Similar pace. By the end of it, we were best buddies. So I need to learn how to do that with content because I know there's people out there that have, like-minded individuals that want to do these types of things. Mobilizing those people, getting them behind the vision. That's what's the next step.
Well,
That's one of my favorite parts about the running community is you'll find, like, the one out there. Like, there's just somebody who's got that right attitude, just the right vibe that works with you, and just together it's an unstoppable pair. So I'm glad that you have the opportunity to do that in so many different places, and you're just building your own running community as you go. I think it's fantastic.
Well, you said a 3:21 PR just
Which
a
is
few months
amazing.
into this running journey. So when did you start running and how did you come up with the concept of running a marathon every weekend in every state?
Okay, I'll start with how I came up with the concept first, because that led to actually training for the event itself. It's funny, like, I tend to overcommit, right? 'Cause in the past, I've been an idea guy and not like a practical action guy. This year, the goal is to change that identity. It's like, all right, I'm no longer the idea guy. I'm Mr. Practical Action. right? I take action all the time on these ideas. Back in October, I was like, well, 2024 is coming up. I'm going to do an event for the whole year. I got to figure it out. So I was like, well, what if I just like, for the month of October, what if I just ran a marathon every weekend and just made a series out of that for TikTok, right? So that'd be pretty cool. So I looked up like 4 different marathons and I had the schedule ready to go. I sent it to a couple of my friends, which is a terrible idea. Take action on it before you send it to your friends. And so I sent it to them, and then October comes and I hadn't trained and I just didn't follow through with the idea. And so then I called my buddy. He's like my best friend, basically my brother. His name's Tyler. And I was talking with Tyler. I was like, dude, what am I supposed to do? He's like, what if we started running just 1 mile every single day just to get both of us more disciplined? And so then that's what we did. He started like 2 weeks before me. And so I joined in for this mile a day challenge. That kind of got me into this whole running, environment of like, okay, I had this idea and now I'm actually doing the training.
Yeah.
Then I'm thinking like, I didn't do, a marathon every single weekend of October, but what if I did it in like December? I'm just trying to figure it out. And then I was like, I've heard of the Iron Cowboy. I've heard of like these guys who are like farthing America. What if I did something as crazy as that? Like, why can't I be the one that goes out there and runs a marathon in all 50 states? So that's what I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. Before I tell people, I'm going to give myself a challenge. And if I can do it, then I'm going to commit to this challenge of running a marathon in all 50 states. Because that's also the brand that I want to build, is like the 50 states guy, right? So I'll just take on challenges involving all 50 states.
That is cool. That is a great way to travel. And just, I hope all of these will get you to actually see stuff this time around.
Eventually, I won't be sleeping in my car and disgusting on an airplane after running 3 hours earlier. But
we gotta get you an RV with a nice shower, Eric. You need to set him up with like we'll keep tweeting at or what Xing at whatever. Who gave you your camper?
Camping World.
There we go. Camping World. We need your help.
Yeah, we
awesome.
need you. No, you need a sponsor. You need one day you'll be doing this in an RV or one of those camper vans with a team with Tyler. And maybe like we'll join you for a weekend or something and we'll get all the content. We'll podcast from the van. You get microphones. You have a whole YouTube channel. You're going to do it like you said in your post, your story. You're going to do it. So what was that first marathon, January 2024?
Okay, so Houston, January 14th. That was the first one. The week before, I just ran a practice marathon at my house. And it was like split up into 2 parts. It wasn't even a full race. And so I did like a 3:49, but there was an hour and a half of breaks at like mile 20. And those last 6 miles were terrible. It was the worst. So I go into Houston thinking like, all right, maybe like 4 hours, right? Like my first marathon ever was February of 2023. So almost 11 months prior to the first race of this year. And I ran a 5 hour and 5 minute marathon with my buddy Tyler. We did it with no training. We're like, what is the baseline of like, if we didn't train it whatsoever, could we run a marathon? So I was going into it like, if I got a 4, that'd be an hour PR. That'd be great.
Yeah.
In the first like 3 miles, I joined up with this guy, this Italian guy named Maurizio. We were talking until like mile 18 to 20. And eventually we split off because he was holding his pace, but I was kind of pushing him a little bit faster because I was just feeling good that day. And those last 6 miles, I was like negative splitting. So I went from like, an 8:30 average pace all the way down to whatever a 3:39 would be. But those last few miles were like 7:37, 7:06. Like it was crazy. And so I ended up running a 3:39, like 20 minutes faster than I was aiming for. That's where I really learned. I was like, holy cow, A, the adrenaline of being in the moment. B, having someone there with you to enjoy the whole adventure with, not getting stuck in your head because you can have a conversation with them, playing off their energy. And then C, playing off the energy of the crowd. If they're sitting out there for 5 hours just waiting for their, family member to run by for 10 seconds. If you hype up the crowd, they'll hype you up too. And so all those things combined, like that was a really cool experience to have that race. It gave me all the confidence of the world of like, I'm doing this. I can do all 50 states this year if I can do this one this weekend. That's where I kind of decided. I was like, all right, time to really get serious. So figuring out all the details and everything like that. That was like a 6-minute video that I edited as well, which is not good for Instagram. Another lesson learned. Instagram is short videos. YouTube is long, but
There you
yeah,
go.
it was quite the experience.
Well, that makes me kind of happy to hear that you had tried a marathon before, because I was like, did you literally just wing this whole thing? Like, I'm just going to start running marathons. Like, you didn't do the 5K, the 10K. So have you done any other races besides that when you started your marathon journey?
So, great question, because I feel like there's a lot of people that want to get started. They just don't know how.
Mhm.
And this is another lesson of just like, that I've learned is just do it imperfectly, right? It doesn't have to be pretty the first go
Yeah,
around.
there's no real like progression to things. You just kind of, hey,
You
I
just
want
do
to
it.
try something, and yeah, go for it.
So, we did a half marathon February of 2023. My buddy and I, we were like, let's just get back into running. And it was terrible. It was like a 2.5, 3 hour, whatever it was. Like, but I say it was terrible, not for the time. We were dead after 13 miles. Then a month later, we did the full marathon. And we're like, all right, if we can do that, like, why can't we do like a Spartan race? So we did a Spartan
Okay.
race like a couple weeks later. And then it was April, and he made a bet with one of our other buddies, and he lost. The stakes were that he had to run an Ironman with no training. I was like, it was like $600. I'm like, I'm not gonna pay for an Ironman,
Yeah.
right? But what I'll do is like, I'll run an Ironman distance with you if you find like a place to do it. So we found a lake, bikes, and went out there and did an Ironman with no training.
Wow.
That's the thing. It took us 24 hours. We finished it in a Planet Fitness. We were running like, a half marathon on a treadmill. Not pretty whatsoever. But we did it. And so at the end of the day, like, just those little moments stacking up together, that was like, all right, all the confidence in the world. And then that's when, that was 2 weeks before I went out and biked in cities across the U.S. for the Penny Farthing Tour.
Gotcha.
Yep.
I fear that you're going to give Eric some bad ideas. He's been trying to get me to do an Ironman for probably since I've known you, like a long, long, long time. And I'm just not the Ironman type. I don't really swim. I don't really bike.
You're an
prefer
Iron
running.
Lady.
I'm an Iron Lady. Well, not yet. But he's still trying to convince me to do one, and I fear that he's going to be like, hey, I bet you. You lose this bet, you have to do one.
It's a good
like that.
idea. Yeah. One of these days I'll win a bet. Usually our bets involve donating money to a good
charity or something,
good cause or something. But
we have a lot of friends who fundraise for like Boston and stuff like that. So I would much rather support my friends than get stuck doing an impromptu Iron.
What if we did a coin flip?
No.
Yeah, 50-50
Hold on.
chance.
Hold
Why-
on.
No.
All right.
No,
We're
no,
gonna
no,
flip
no,
the
no,
magnet,
no, no.
Erika. The Stulia's heads and the backside is tails. Called in the air. Ready?
Not doing it. It's
What is it?
tails. I thought
No,
you
it's
put it
heads.
on tails. Anyway,
All right, so
that
why-
was nerve-wracking. Okay.
Why? At what point did the challenges you chose to do on these marathons come into play? Was it Marathon 1, or did you come up with that concept along the ride?
So, October of 2023 is October 9th. Because the way I set it up, I was like, if I'm going to run a mile every single day, I'm just going to do this for the rest of the time. So there's a cool story with that. I won't get off into it. But anyways, it was like the second weekend of October, I created the schedule in one weekend. It's like, all right, let me just see if something like this is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Then November comes along and I actually start like ramping up miles. I think I got like 120 or something like that. December comes along. I'm like, if I'm going to do this, it starts next month. I have to really commit. So the time that I committed was on my birthday, my 22nd birthday, December 17th of last year.
What a baby.
So, yeah. So I, starting December 1st, I ran one more mile every single day. And I was like, all right, day one, December 1st is 1 mile. Then it's 2 miles on the second, 3 miles. That last week, I did 15, 16, 17. It was 98 miles total for the week. And so after doing that, I was like, I never knew I had this in me. But because I made this challenge that slowly, incrementally, like, pushed my limits a little bit further, now I know, like, I've got what it takes. And that's when I committed. I was like, all right, this is the time. I called up my buddy. I'm like, dude, I'm doing it.
That's so
So what the schedule
awesome.
look like then? There's so many logistics that come into play with it. How
Oh
did you
my
plan
God.
for all that?
I figured, like, what is the pinch point? The main pinch point is, like, can you do all 50 in 1 year, right? Because, like, it'd be cool to do it in, like, let's say 5 years. It's interesting how it happens. Like, usually you pick a time frame, 10 years, whatever it is. Some people just don't care. They're going to do it, in their lifetime. They don't
That's
really
my
care about
deal.
their,
I'm like, whenever
Yeah.
it works out, I'm gonna do it.
I don't know why I'm so drawn to the time frame of things, but, like, I was like, all right, can I make this happen in a year? So then I just sat down literally for like 12 hours straight, and I had like all these marathon websites pulled up, and I would just pick like the largest enrollment. So like Hawaii, Honolulu Marathon, December 8th. That's like one of the biggest in the country. Marine Corps Marathon, New York City, Chicago. I just started plotting like all the anchors. So I was like, all right, these are the ones like I have to do. That was also like Houston and why I did Austin as well. So I plotted all those. Then I was like, all right, what are the states that like I want to go to like a really cool marathon? I did those next. And then the remaining weekends, I would like, I would write like 2 or 3 and then just sort through like, oh, these 3 versus these 2. If I did this one over here, this one here, I could do this one on this blank weekend. And, for like Michigan, for example, there's some really nice marathons there. I'm not running the biggest marathon in Michigan, but at least I'm still running one for the weekend.
Yeah.
So it took forever to figure out, but like, I love it. I love the puzzle aspect of things. And so like one weekend just knocked it out. And then I knew that if I had the dates lined up, just booking travel 6 weeks in advance, I'd be able to pull it off.
I know that there was one point where didn't you miss a flight, or what happened with that? I was trying to share your story. I was like, all right, we got to get this kid, get him where he needs to go. Because you like there was a delay or something and you had to be here, but then you had one the next day as well. Like you had some crazy logistic issues. So what happened with that? I mean, you made it because I think I saw that you were doing these races, but that must have just been a nightmare.
Okay, so that was the 20th marathon of the 50 States Marathon Challenge, Fargo, North Dakota. And so I just wasn't on top of the details because like I'm, trying to figure out how to make money while also figuring out life. And then as well, like, problems with like friends or girls, whatever it is. And then this on top of it, I just
Stay
there's
away
always
from the
details.
girls.
Yeah,
Stay
that's what I've
away.
learned. That's what I've learned, at least for a little while until I figure out my life. But anyways,
Yes.
all these details slip through the cracks. So I'm just sitting there one night and like the boarding now like notification pops up on my phone. I was like, that's weird. So I opened it up and it was a day early. So like I missed my flight. I didn't show up on time. So then I was like, oh, well, I have to go to Fargo, like Fargo Marathon. It's one of the only ones in the state. It's also pretty big. And so like, I was just, posted a video on social media. I was like, just let me see if anyone responds. There's actually a lot of support from it, which was crazy.
Good.
There's people saying like, hey, there's this bus, like take a Greyhound.
Where were you when you realized you forgot the day of your flight?
I was just at the kitchen table playing cards with my grandma.
Well, like state-wise, were you in Georgia? Were you in Boston?
Georgia.
Georgia. Okay.
Yeah. So then, like to pull it all together, I found a flight that left early enough to catch the Greyhound bus. That was a 10-hour bus to from Minneapolis to Fargo. So I had to fly out to Minneapolis from Atlanta. There was a 30-minute window in between the plane landing and getting to the bus on time. And so luckily we landed like 15 minutes early, which never happens. So I had like 45 minutes and I hopped in an Uber, went over that way, was able to catch the bus. I didn't post the video of this, but like it was so jank. I had like a bag of spaghetti because I couldn't bring like the container. So I was just like eating chicken and spaghetti. Like it was disgusting that I waited, 3 or 4 hours in a plane to eat this. I was like, whatever it takes to get the calories in. I was like trying to sleep on the bus. It was not a good situation. I got to Fargo. Every hotel was booked. I was out of money because I had to buy this extra flight. So then I ended up like renting a car, sleeping in the car. And yeah, it wasn't the fastest time, but yet again, I met my buddy Byron up in Fargo and we had the time of our life, just, chatting the whole way. And I'll be running with them when I get to Michigan. So it was really cool how, like, even though it didn't work out perfect, I was still able to have like a really cool experience from it.
Oh man, how
You just
all
have
right,
the whole just gotta get it done. It doesn't matter how fast or whatever. You just have to do it. You must have been absolutely exhausted, but
I
that's
was
the
destroyed.
mentality. Do it or else.
I mean, he's destroyed right now. Look at him. Look at the two of you. Just did 100-miler in the last 24 hours, but we're here doing this. Like, this is how
Oh
you
my
do it.
God.
You just keep grinding away at the dream.
Today's
Hey,
episode is brought to you by the Orange Can Red Bull.
So
Yeah.
Wyatt, you mentioned like you try to figure out how to make money during this whole entire challenge. Like I know people are wondering. I know you're 22 and you're young. You're single. You have no kids. You have no responsibilities besides keeping yourself alive. How are you making
That's
money? Do you
important.
have a place you actually live and pay rent, or do you crash with grandma underneath her roof? Like, give us those details. How are you managing to pull this off?
I'm actually homeless. No.
No, I
No,
mean,
I
I
moved
wouldn't
back
believe it.
in.
You're on the rooftop at MIT in Boston right now. You're just bouncing around
That's
friends'
so
house. Look at that
badass.
view.
No,
I would
no.
believe it, and it's not a bad thing.
No, not luckily, but like fortunately, I moved back in with my parents. My mom was okay with me, doing this challenge or like
Yeah.
trying to figure out life. Because what we've decided as a family is like there will never be a time where it's difficult to get a student loan. You can always get a student loan. You can always go to school. My
Yeah.
mom knows from everything that I've done so far, and especially with like the early success with like Chipotle and stuff like that from the 50 states road trip, getting them as a sponsor was crazy. That kind of allowed my mom to know like, okay, there is potential here. Keep exploring this idea. She was okay with me moving back in this year to take on this challenge or a challenge
Good.
of some sort before I knew. How I make money, I build tables. So I'm a woodworker. I absolutely
Cool.
love it. When I was in high school, I built a table for free for my friend's parents who owned this restaurant. And they just paid the materials cost. It wasn't perfect. It was like some blemishes on the table, but I still made it. It looks great from the outside. It's just like the close details when you're sitting up close to it. And so like that got me into building tables. I continued that after I got back from the whole, King's College journey over in London. And then that's what's been funding everything so far, which is nice because like I lived in Nashville for a year and basically all my money went to paying rent. And so that's why I moved back home. I was like, if I want to make this dream a reality, like either, I train in some program to like get an actual job, corporate
Mhm.
job, or I move back home with my parents and try to figure out a way to make woodworking pay for things. Now, on top of that, like what I found with woodworking, it takes, 6 weeks or however long to build a table, get paid for it, and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to switch over. So now, on top of woodworking, I'm making money from like pressure washing homes and cleaning windows. So I have like the equipment and everything.
Yep.
It's really good. I literally just go out and I'll get a contract, and then like all the neighbors will want one as well. And so then like I'm just cleaning whatever it takes to make this 50 States Marathon Challenge happen. I'm
Yeah.
just finding ways to make money, make just enough to pay for the marathon the next week, and looking for sponsors that way I can kind of get out of this rat race. But
Understandable. That can get tough at times, especially when you don't know if you're going to have enough contracts to cover everything you need. But just the fact that you were grinding and getting through it, I totally commend you. That is some crazy stuff. You are just ooh. He's showing us
Erika,
some of your tables.
these aren't like your foldable tables that you buy at
that is
Walmart.
like those really nice bar tables. Like, oh wow.
That
So-
is, dude,
That's
that's a whole nother
beautiful.
podcast.
Thank you. Those 2 tables were my first 2 tables I ever built.
Ever.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
Here's a crazy story with this. Maybe I said earlier that my adventure side started at King's College.
Mhm.
This also was a pretty big, like pivotal moment in my life. There was a library down the road that was cutting down a tree. And so those slabs of wood, if you scroll further down on the Instagram page, I cut them from the tree itself and did the whole
Wow.
process from tree to table.
That is incredible. That makes it so much more special too.
So if you go down 2 more, that first, this is a different one. That one.
Wow.
So
Oh, I
That's
see
a-
what you did. You like cut that whole middle part out and then you did resin in there. Oh, that is so cool.
that's a pecan tree and absolutely beautiful wood.
Yeah.
It's very caramel in the inside, vanilla on like the sapwood. Cut it down the middle, and like they were so awesome for working with me on this because I was literally just going to them with a promise of like, hey, I'll build this table for you for like just materials costs and it'll look great. That's my sister's dog. His name's Bo.
Oh, I had a
Bulldog.
dog named Bo.
Sorry, he's so small. I like small things.
Oh, he's awesome. I throw him against the wall every now and again.
This is awesome, dude.
Thank you.
Well, you've got some awesome skills. You know, you should add like cornhole sets or like beer tie tables to your repertoire.
My sister also does like arts and crafts of sorts or whatever it's called, and she does cornhole boards that like she'll paint by hand.
Oh my
So
gosh.
we're a very artistic family.
That you guys have some skills. I am very impressed. That's awesome. So I hope that this is like, I hope that takes off, but I fear that it might cut into your marathon. So maybe like just, it'll keep going and then it'll pick up after your challenge is done.
So I'll put this in the show notes, but it's the Woodworking Company on Instagram. So at the Woodworking Company, it's a separate Instagram account from Wyatt's own running in 50 State
cool.
Challenge account. This is so Wyatt, the dream one day is to have our own podcast studio.
Yeah.
You will make the table for our podcast studio.
I would love to do that. That'd be incredible.
You will. We might
the
need
official woodworker of On the Runs podcast.
Yes, you will make the table. That is like, that's how it's going to be epic. It's just going to be epic. You'll make the table. It will be so cool. It'll be part of the story and the journey, but the journey back to your 50 marathons or your marathons every weekend in every state. It's actually 52 weeks in a year. So I'm going to wonder what state got doubled up here. But yeah, continue on. You do Houston in January. What was next? Tell us some of those big marathons and some of your favorite and maybe some of the more challenging ones.
Yeah. So the ones that are doubled up, I'll answer that question first. The goal is the 50 States Marathon Challenge. As long as I run a marathon in all 50 states in 2024, then I've completed the challenge. So then the ones that get doubled up are just because they're really big races. It's not particularly because I have to run one every single weekend. There's actually been a couple of weekends where I haven't run one this year. I just say that because it's easier to understand.
Yeah.
And it's like basically every single weekend. I've done 26 or 25 so far this year. Like 25 different states, 27 total. But anyways, Miami was right after Houston. It was so humid. And it was January 28th. Like the first 3 hours of the race were great. But like that last hour and a half was just absolutely
ball
terrible.
soup.
That
Yes.
one doesn't it start very early, so it's not quite as bad, but once that sun crests over, you're like, oh no.
I was going like 3:30 pace and I ended at 4:30. So
that goes to show
yeah.
you. Mm-hmm.
So then some of the standout marathons, the one that I did in Kentucky, the Two Rivers Marathon, I had never really trained on a trail before.
It was a trail race.
Yes. So it was a trail marathon and I drove up the night before, slept in my car. I got like 3 hours of sleep. And so like, that's a common theme is that like the marathons where I don't really run a fast time, it's because I slept in my car the night before. Even though like, I'll tell you another story about that in a second with the one in Las Vegas. But anyways, in Kentucky, I was wearing road shoes. I pulled up to the start line. Everyone had their like, their vests on with like water bottles and gels. And then I'm just there with like my classic like white shirt and like, colorful shorts or whatever that you would call them. And then like, my road shoes. Everyone had like their trail marathon shoes on. And like, so I started running that race and like, I didn't know how the elevation was because I don't really even check elevation. I just go and run the race day of. 2 laps around this like super hilly course. I think it ended up being 5,500 feet of elevation. And so the first lap, like it didn't hit until like mile 9. So like everyone's going kind of slow and I'm like I'm going to cruise this race. And I get to like mile 9 and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like looking up this mountain.
Oh no.
Start walking that. And then like my Achilles starts to hurt because I'm in running shoes. I didn't really stretch adequately. And like by the second lap, I was just walking. It was just exhausting. That was like a 5-hour marathon. It brought me back to the, Atlanta Marathon 2023 days, my first one ever. Because like, it was a whole new environment. I had not planned for at all. But it pushed the limits a little further. We finished the race, and a day later, I was fine. So then I kind of realized, I was like, holy cow, like if I start delaying the time mentally, I can push through the pain as long as I don't get myself injured and like take on, you know, a marathon a little bit quicker than I feel like in the moment I could do, just because I'm like thinking to myself, tomorrow I'll be fine. In 3 hours, I'll be sitting in my car, you know, whatever the time frame is that allows me to like mentally be there.
Yeah.
Then the one that like has done really well on social media, on Instagram, the one for Missoula. So I did the Missoula Marathon, and I didn't think I was going to be able to go because I literally ran out of money that week before. And so I delivered a table, and I had just enough to be able to buy the plane ticket. Super expensive. And I was like, do I need to run this race in order to complete the challenge? I was like, if I want to do all 50 this year, I have to run Missoula. You know, I've made this schedule. If I don't run Missoula, then it takes a year and a half. I was like, maybe down the road later this year, I'll have to do that. But at least for this weekend, I'm going to try my best to just hold on for one more week.
There we go.
And so that's where like the scrappiness really started, because the flight was $800 because I bought it like a week out. So it was way too expensive. Like it would be $300 if I bought it like a couple months in advance. So I really messed up there because I spent money that, you know, I should have been spending on a hotel and stuff like that. But I was like, I have to do this if I want to keep the challenge going. And it's a lot of money for me, you know, to like spend that, because that could have been like 3 marathon weekends. But I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. I didn't have a plan on where I was going to stay. I flew out there. And so Missoula is a small town similar to Fargo. Everything was booked out. No hotels available. One Airbnb, and it was like $250. The cars were $250. I was like, all right, at least once on this challenge, why don't I just try sleeping outside?
Yes.
So I was like, all right, I'm just going to go up to the start line, see if there's like a park or something like that. And like my friends, like they make fun of me. They're like, dude, you're actually homeless sometimes. Like you can literally just like go out there and raw dog a marathon.
At least you have all your teeth.
Yeah. So I took an Uber up to the start line. It was $26. And that was the rest of the money that I spent that weekend, because I slept outside of the start line in the grass. And then it was freezing cold. So like half the night I was like, I didn't put this in the video on Instagram, but because I thought my friends would think that I was like actually insane, which they probably like when they listen to this podcast, they're going to be like, dude, like, what are you doing?
Right.
But I'll tell you anyways. I stood up for like 3 hours during the night because it started raining and it was windy and it was super cold in a porta potty. So I was just standing up in a porta potty, absolutely exhausted. 2:00 in the morning, I would like fall asleep for a second, hit my head on the side of the porta potty, wake up, and then like be like, all right. And like it was clean. It was a clean porta potty, but still like
That's
something about it that's just wrong. And I was like, I can never tell anyone about this. But, you know, if we can let it all out here,
this is where you tell everyone about this.
You would not be the first one who had to do that, though. We've had our friend Neil Murphy on the podcast, and he's in like mid-ultra, would find a warm place. And what warm place can you find? A porta potty. Yep.
Porta potty with the sun baking on it.
I can't tell what state his was in, but I'm glad yours was at least clean. So you got to do what you got to do.
Whatever it takes and wherever it takes me. That's the phrase of the 50 States Marathon Challenge.
I love it.
However I can make it happen and wherever I go.
So this brings me to another question. What do you typically bring with you when you travel to these marathons? Do you just have like a backpack and whatever you can cram inside, or I can't imagine you have like a suitcase and like, because what are you going to do with it when like if you can't check a bag at the race?
His carry-on is a drop bag.
That's the idea, is that I have to bring just enough to have clothes before and after the marathon, but not too much where it couldn't fit in the drop bag at the start of the race.
Okay.
So when I gear check at the start of the race, it has to fit in the plastic bag. In Los Angeles, I actually wasn't able to fit it in one. I had to put it in 2 separate bags, and like the cops almost didn't let me in.
Oh, no.
I was gonna have to like store it in a tree or something, but luckily figured that out. And like I learned my lesson. I was like, I packed too many clothes for that one. Mm-hmm. But anyways, you'll notice in the videos I'm wearing the same gray shirt in every single video at the start when I'm on the at the airport. The same white shirt every single marathon while I'm running. And then I put the gray shirt back on to travel home. Because it's like 3 hours of travel. I'm like, all right, I wore it the day before. I'll just wear it again. It's
Whatever.
disgusting, but it
Tried
works.
and true, though. You have your method, and it works. You're doing the nothing new on race day thing because you have that shirt, and it's been with you, and it's perfect. So that's great.
You mentioned earlier you brought spaghetti in a bag. Like, how do you plan the nutrition here? Do you carry food with you? Do you like
That's the
plan
best.
out beforehand? I'm going to go and get food here. Like, we know about the ribs in the car overnight. Like, but how do you plan this nutrition to get the protein and everything you need, all those carbs?
But like most of this is last minute. It's just we're gonna figure it out like on the fly. So
Yeah.
that morning I meal prep and I had pasta and we had all of our Tupperware in the fridge. I was heading out and like I had this pasta, in the pot. So I was like, what do I do with this? Gotta catch the flight. I can't just put it in a bowl in my backpack. Plastic bag. Like, I have like literally 3 minutes until I have to get out the door. I know I need food because I'm going to be on a bus, middle of nowhere, Fargo, North Dakota. So for those types of situations, it's usually either bring some type of like bread or food, eat a ton of food the day before, or go to Chipotle the night before and then right after the race. I spent a lot of money at Chipotle.
Well, they sponsored you. I mean, you're just giving back.
Well, hopefully. I haven't even talked with them about the marathons yet. I need to send them a message, be like, hey, let's make the 50 state Dorito or I don't know, something.
I
Well,
would
it could
eat
be
that. Hell
the
yes.
50 state challenge every year is brought to you by Chipotle.
Yeah. Oh, I would love
That's got
that.
a great ring to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the only person, John, my buddy, Ethan, the other buddy, the three of us, we're the only people in the world who have eaten Chipotle in all 50 states.
Amazing.
So, like, if there's anyone, it's going to be one of us three that's going to get, a recurring setup with Chipotle for all 50.
Well, sorry to your other buddies, but my vote goes to you.
Thank you.
The only downfall to that would be when you're in somewhere like the Flying Pig Marathon or Vermont, like you want to have ribs? No, you got to have Chipotle. You want to have ice cream? Nope, you got to have Chipotle. So let's get into running with ribs and running with ice cream in these marathons. Let's start with Flying Pig because that's the one Erika was at where she found you running by with a full rack of ribs.
I wish I had actually seen you that day. I would have given you a round of applause.
The news
no,
saw
I
him
just-
though.
I just saw the video and I thought, holy shit, this kid is crazy. So yeah, tell us more about this. It's crazy.
This kid is insane. That's what you should have been thinking.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. So
Well, I did bacon and tequila that day, so I'm on that same boat.
that's a wild mix right there.
It really was, yeah.
So I was like I think that was 19 marathons in or whatever it was. And every single weekend I would during the week have things to do, not really come up with a plan. I'd get out there and just film regular videos. Then I'd have to spend a lot of time editing to kind of tell a storyline. Wasn't really that compelling. So I was like, all right, I need to have something where people want to watch before the video even starts. They don't care about my story or who I am, or they don't have enough time to care. So I need to just really focus on what's just something I can give them up front that's funny. They understand it. It's like this dude's running a marathon while eating ribs. That's funny.
That
And so
did the trick.
I was like, all right, brainstorm, rack of ribs for Cincinnati. Got to make it happen. So that was the first one, and it did really well. The clip of me on the news talking to the lady, she was so confused. They were like, is that chocolate cake? What is he carrying? And I offered her the ribs. She would not take them. But yeah, that video did really well. And it kind of solidified. I was like, okay, I need to spend more time thinking of what's a food item I could do. And I haven't even, that's the other crazy part. I think that the buddy that you mentioned who does the biking, where he posts the series after he's done, I have a feeling that that's what this is going to be like, where the 50 days leading up to Hawaii, I'll be posting all of the marathons leading up to Hawaii, just as a recap of the year, because I haven't even posted over half of the marathons that I've run this year. I ran
Too busy. You got a lot of shit to worry about.
The main thing is I got to make money somehow. So during the week, it's scrapping together as much as I can make to be able to pay for the plane ticket, 6 weeks out or whatever it is. So that's the sacrifice. It's like, you know, if I want to make it happen at this age without having a real job or anything like that, like there's sacrifices to be made. That's one of them, which is okay with me. I just have to figure out as I go. Yeah, this is the one of the ribs ones.
Let's go ahead. Let's play this. So I hope the sound works out. If not, I'll feed it into the edit. But here we go. Here is the Flying Pig Marathon reel that you made, where you got caught on the news.
I could eat a full rack of ribs right now. Oh!
Hey, what is that? What is that? You bringing me food?
Full rack of ribs. This is my 19th marathon for the year. I'm gonna eat all 19 of these to go.
You're not going to share?
Lots of questions.
Lots of questions.
Was it cake? I think it was a chocolate cake he was eating while running.
Listen, you're going to need that sustenance. So if that's what works for him, hats off.
First,
Cake.
the dude on the news wasn't paying attention. You clearly said it's a full rack of ribs, and he goes, "What was that, cake?" He was not paying attention. But tell us, like that. How cool is that? That was so cool.
When I saw that video after it played back, because I was like, "There's no way they're actually going to show this." I saw the video. I was like, "Oh my gosh, like that's hilarious." So one of my goals now is like every time there's a camera, I don't even know if the footage will ever be posted. I'm just going in front of it and like saying something, you know, whatever it is, like, because those are the cool moments. Like if you look at the, you know, what goes viral, what stays viral for a long time. A lot of the videos are like Snapchat stories where like, you know, comedy creators will create like a fake Snapchat story because it feels like natural. One of those types of things would be the clips on the news. If you have one of those, it's like a viral clip that goes, you know, out there and that people hold for a long time as like a pop culture moment. So I'm going to be doing that all the time moving forward.
Jumping at every opportunity.
Yeah,
Yes,
whatever
dude.
it takes.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's incredible. So you go from the rack of ribs. I don't know if there was anything in between, but you were in our neck of the woods. So we're in New Hampshire and you were in Vermont. And when you think of Vermont, you think of Ben and Jerry's. And lo and behold, you are running that marathon, eating a pint of ice cream. And I want to hear about that too.
That was another situation. I was like, I have this cool idea. And then when idea meets reality, it's like, well, how am I going to film while eating this ice cream? You know, what am I going to do? Am I going to pick it up the night before? Like, it's going to melt. It'll just be milk.
Yeah.
So then I had to go to a gas station 10 minutes before the race started. I like sprinted up there, got a pint, ran back, and I'm walking up to the start line, just standing there. And like, I filmed the intro video. This lady behind me looks at me like, what? Are you upset?
Oh, I
like,
got
insane?
that for you.
I love those kind of reactions though.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then during the race, I just like, that's where I had to involve people. I was like, all right, get out of your comfort zone. Start asking people like, hey, can you film this real quick? Hey, can you take a video? Like, and usually people are pretty nice. They're like, yeah, sure. And so I'll film it. And then they just see this kid like, it's like, wait, what are you doing? Same thing with the ribs. Like, they were just dying laughing at like, that's what I love. They were dying laughing at me doing this challenge, but it encouraged them while doing the race. I would hold up the bag of ribs during that race with people who were like walking at like mile 21, be like, ribs? And they would just start dying laughing. Cause it just like, it's so out of left field that it's just like, that's hilarious.
Oh my God.
Why did you carry the top to the Ben and Jerry's the whole time underneath?
Because
just seems like one extra thing to go wrong or something.
Well, what is he going to do? He's going to run and the ice cream's going to melt and it's going to splash. So he's got to be able to put it back on top.
Well, the whole time in the video, it's just underneath on the bottom. You're holding it by your pinky.
it's a souvenir.
Yeah, true. Okay.
I kept the whole thing. I brought it home, sitting up on my shelf.
I love it. What flavor was it?
Half baked.
Oh, I can't even. Half baked. Yeah, half baked.
Half baked. Okay.
What do you use to film? By the way, is this just your phone, or do you have like a GoPro or some camera?
I just do the back camera on my phone, and I just hold it like this.
Yeah.
So I'm like running like that. Thank y'all so much for like hyping me up. This is very exciting, very encouraging. That like these are actually cool ideas that y'all enjoy. So I really appreciate it.
Man. We love this shit.
I dig this more than I can even tell you because I'm usually the one of my friend group who gets all the shit because I love doing the crazy challenges. Like we just did Notchview. We'll talk, but like that was insane. And I did a 100 miler 2 weeks ago too. So my friends are like, maybe you should chill. But like you are doing basically the same thing, like marathon after marathon after marathon. Like I love when I find my people who have the same crazy mindset as me that just don't want to stop moving and just want to keep going and experience things. So I find my people through this podcast, and I'm so glad that you are one of them now, because I just think what you're doing is amazing. So if this is encouraging you, please just keep going. Try like whatever we can do to help you on your journey. We're happy to do so.
Well, let's play the video here of the ice cream here, because this is great. This is
And you're
by
around
far
the 4 hour pacer mark. I need to know
If
later
you're
if you
and if
stayed
you're
with
watching on
that.
YouTube, pay close attention to the old lady in the background that he mentioned at the start. Here we go. Here's Wyatt eating Ben & Jerry's during the Vermont Marathon.
We're here at the Vermont City Marathon for the 21st marathon of the 50 States Marathon Challenge. Gonna take down a pint of half-baked Ben & Jerry's.
I can love it.
It's go time. Go on a bite?
Don't trust the fart.
Ben & Jerry's, the full thing.
Facing all of us.
Dude, what are you doing? I'm down to pint. Down to pint. That's it.
It's just drinkable at this point.
Here we go. There. Oh, a little Ben and Jerry's. That wasn't even a
Love the ice cream. That's it. Just past 17 with ice cream, guys. 2 bites left. He's just wearing a little of it.
My hamstrings are so tight. We're pushing through.
Yeah, ice cream's good for her. Here you go.
Honestly, this is a play.
Yeah?
Good strategy.
Yeah? All right, I need to know, was it actually a good fueling strategy?
It was so bad. Oh, it was terrible. My mouth was so dry the entire time because of all the sugar, and it melted. And so, like, I was trying to drink it. Yeah, it was. The other thing, the reason why I was in the 4 hour pace group, even though like I was aiming for like 340, I was like, "There's no way I can run fast while eating this because I'm gonna have to go to the restroom." Like,
Yeah.
I gotta, you know, I don't have the strongest stomach to do that on top of it while
a
running
pint of ice cream. Mm-hmm.
in the summer. Like, it was not a good mix. I was like, all right, I got to just take this one slow, have fun with it, just in case something bad happens.
Yep.
We were good.
Yep.
But you always got a plan.
I will tell you, I probably would not have attempted that myself just because I know how my body handles ice cream even without running. So it does not like me. I like ice cream. It doesn't like me. But good for you, dude. That's that is a choice.
All right,
It's so
Wyatt.
cool too.
So I've gone creeping through Instagram, and when I went really down there, I found some shirtless photos. And you're a hairy guy. You got quite the head of hair there, and
Oh,
you
I'm
can
like, where are
grow
you
the
going with
facial
this,
hair
dude?
and the mustache. And you thought it would be smart to wax your chest in a marathon.
Oh, hold on. Before he gets into this, I made a comment on your page, and I just said, Kelly Clarkson. Did you get the reference?
No, I didn't.
I knew you were young, but it's making me feel so old. If you ever watch the movie The 40-Year-Old Virgin, you will understand.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I've seen. Does he say that during the.
He does.
So here, I wanted to recreate that scene because, like, I had the hairiest chest. July 4th, I waxed my chest while running a 10K. One of the largest 10K in the world, the Peachtree Road Race. And so that was like the idea. Was like, all right, like, it'll be very similar to that scene from 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Okay, good.
The problem, I was using like wax strips that were like super cheap. I wasn't heating them up at all. People were ripping off these wax strips while I was running this race, but it was like ripping the hairs in half. It wasn't like pulling it off. And that's how much chest hair I had. So it was like, I should have like used hot wax or something where like it actually like, had a grip on the hair. It hurt so bad because I would just wax the same thing 7 or 8 times. The hair was still there. It was just terrible.
So what made you want to do that? Just just a funny thing? Like, did it have anything to do with you being at like one of your hometown races, or was it just I'm warm. I don't want the hair sweater anymore.
That's a great name for it because it's exactly what it was. The idea behind it was like, it started to get summertime. Like, I want to start running shirtless, but I don't want to have all this chest hair. So I need to start like waxing it. But then I was like, well, I could shave off my chest or I could do a video out of it. Slowly changing my mind of like always thinking of content. That's another situation where I posted this first video. I haven't even posted the actual video of like all the people. There was a grandma who waxed my chest.
A grandma?
Yeah.
Look at this lady to your left there just dying.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Those are all my friends from Run Club.
Oh my God.
That looks
Well, yeah, because that's home.
painful.
That's home for you.
Yep. Atlanta. ATL.
Oh.
This one was so bad because she actually heated it up.
Well, that's why I think you're supposed to do that so it gets melty and it like.
Oh my God.
My chest
It'll
started
grip better.
bleeding.
Your chest is so red.
No.
Yeah.
How are the nips?
It hurt so bad. Both of my nipples were ripped like 7 times, and it just did not work.
God,
Oh my
that
God.
sounds miserable. It looks miserable because I can see it. So, holy shit, dude!
You're doing the right things. You're doing epic shit. That's what you're doing.
Mhm.
Whether it's right or wrong, it's epic shit. I don't know if I would wax my chest hair. I would shave
you've
it.
got more than that, don't you?
I do. I would shave it. I don't think I would wax it.
If you need someone to wax it while running, I know a guy.
Yeah. What's your New Hampshire plan? Have you been here yet for a race?
Is Rehoboth Beach, New Hampshire?
No, I don't think so.
I wish I could check because it's on my phone.
November 10th, the Manchester City Marathon. Let's do it. I already signed up.
I might be signed up for
There's
that.
a bunch.
Is there another race November 10th?
You know what? I can look real quick. I can give you a list. Well, actually, Eric can probably look too. But in the meantime, for whatever your next marathon is, do you have any fun gimmicks planned, such as waxing chest or eating ice cream? Or is that something you think of on the fly? Like, this could be a cool idea to do during the marathon.
The next one is Idaho. But
that's next weekend, right?
Yes. Same situation, though, with Missoula. I'm out of money again. So, like, this week, I'll just be pressure washing and, like, I have no idea.
Somebody buy a table.
Yeah. I have no idea if I'll be able to actually show up on race day or not. I might just drive out there instead of fly. Because, like, monetarily, it'd make way more sense just to do that, pay for gas.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a day and a half. I'd drive 30
driving. Ooh, yeah.
So I'm like, if I can make the money during that time, I might as well just do that. I don't really know. I got to figure that out.
Okay, so November 9th and 10th. So the 9th is Saturday, the 10th is a Sunday. On the 10th, you have a marathon, the Fort Worth Marathon, Harrisburg Marathon, Madison Marathon, Manchester City Marathon. That's the one you're doing. Outer Banks Marathon, Santa Clara Marathon in California, Southwest Series, St. Luke's in Allentown, Pennsylvania, Tunnel Hill 100. You're not doing that. You're going to go to Manchester to run the Manchester Marathon with me. You'll probably beat me, and I'm not going to shave my chest for it. But, dude, whenever you're in New Hampshire, we need to know.
We need to read off the New Hampshire ones.
That could be, I think it is Manchester City, because I'm doing a double marathon weekend 9 more times this year.
Ooh. Are you doing, I know that there's a lot of different challenges out there. So one that I have been wanting to do, but I just don't think it's in the cards this year. Like, there's something called the I-35 Challenge. So what that is, it's back-to-back races in the same weekend. The first one starts in, I think it's Des Moines, Iowa. And then the next day they have Kansas City, Missouri, I think. And you do them both in the same weekend, and you get like extra bling for doing a challenge. Anything like that on the plan?
I didn't plan for that, but I will be doing those 2 back to back.
Look into it, and I think you can like email the race director and get like an extra medal for it. So you should look into that. It's pretty cool. And I know really there's one. I think it might be too late for this one because I think that would have fallen in like May. But they do like an Earn Your Mitten challenge where you do like Michigan and then Wisconsin or something because they're so close and like within driving distance. And you did that. Did you do that one too or no?
Oh no, just a mitten, like the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's where they get the name. But I think you get like a pair of mittens and like some extra stuff for it. So I know that there's a lot of states that do challenges like that. So if you can do extra things and get some extra bling, I think that would be cool to sign up for.
All right, here's the list of New Hampshire marathons coming
There you
up
go.
starting in September.
I got this far and I got distracted.
You got the Clarence Del Mar Marathon, that's in Keene. You have the New Hampshire
That's
Marathon.
September.
Yep, you have the New Hampshire Marathon in Bristol.
I can check real quick if.
Yeah,
Should I
give it to us. Go for it. You got it.
A few moments later.
It's between the Clarence Del Mar and the New Hampshire Marathon. Because here's why. November 10th is the Indianapolis and the Madison weekend. So I have to do both
you're
of
doing
those.
it back to back.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's a double marathon weekend.
Well, I will
So you
not
haven't
be
chosen yet. You
I
are
will-
still figuring it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will not be here for either of those. I'll be in Tucson, Arizona. In fact, the 5th of the New Hampshire Marathon date is the day I fly back. So if I had to say, because I won't be at either, do the Clarence Del Mar. It's a great marathon. We have a lot of friends out there.
I can vouch for that. I ran it last year.
Yeah.
But which weekend? What day does that fall on? Is it the 20th?
Sunday the
or-
29th.
So the problem with both weekends,
Mhm.
Jackson Hole is the 28th,
Mhm.
and then the following weekend, there's another marathon that weekend as well. Either one, it'd be a double weekend.
Oh, right.
So that's the problem is like, I'm okay running doubles. The travel is the difficult part. Can I find a flight that leaves after the marathon ends with enough time for the TSA check-in and Uber?
Right.
Because if not, I can't do it.
Well, when you figure it out, let us know. What weekend is the New Hampshire? You said your New Hampshire Marathon?
October
That's the-
5th.
October
Yeah.
5th.
I believe
All
it's
right.
going to be that one.
If it is that one, I will be around and I have a spare bedroom that you are welcome to crash at. And Eric always offers this, but I truly am offering this to you because I know what you have going on. And so that one is, I think, Seacoast?
No,
I would
that's
even-
that's Bristol.
Bristol,
That's up near where we went to college.
Oh, actually, like 23?
Yeah.
That's not so bad. I would even be willing to give you a ride. I will throw that out there if that will help you out at all. Because
Thank
we
you.
have the Manchester airport, and if you can get in there, it's real easy to get around. So I'll be happy to hook you up.
Thank you.
I'm so bummed though. Oh,
not
if anything
gonna be
changes
around.
for November 10th and you're like, oh, you can't go to Indy, come here and run with me, man. Well, I would do something crazy with you, just not waxing my chest hair.
He would podcast while you guys tried to run.
We could
That
podcast
would be
while running the
super cool.
carrying
marathon.
like a microphone around.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just
what
get
can I do
random-
to get you?
Random strangers while running, get them in on the
Yes.
episode.
Yes.
We have
come up-
thrown this idea around so many times. That's kind of like how the podcast came to be.
Yeah.
But it's evolved since then. But that was the original idea, like talking on the runs, but also about poop and shit. So,
Well, Wyatt, we didn't even talk about Boston Marathon because you still went and attended and you dressed up in a costume. We can talk about those costumes another time, but we have these two big questions we always get to Wyatt at the end of the pod. One is mine. It's the Code Brown commandments. And a Code Brown is any oh shit moment. And we're building a list of commandments of how to avoid these moments. I gave you an example earlier. What could you add to our Code Brown commandments?
I would say, like, does this include all things marathon related?
All things running.
and
Running
yeah,
around.
running
Could be
in general,
marathon,
yeah.
could be your challenges, could be thou shall not wax their chest while running a marathon. Like
Thou shalt just keep going. Like anything like that.
Honestly, thou shalt not run a race alone.
oh yeah.
Because
That's perfect.
the only times when I slow down are when it's just me. 3 a.m., just me. Everyone's like exhausted. I'm not going to try to meet a new person. They're all running a different pace. So I'm going to go like my pace, but then I get tired. You need to run with someone. So thou shalt not run by themselves. If you're going to run an ultra or a marathon or anything like that for your first time, if you're not a seasoned runner, or even if you are a seasoned runner and you're going for a PR, any situation on the spectrum, you should not run alone.
It really does change things significantly. It just brings you up. It changes your mindset, gets you out of that pain cave, and helps so much. So I absolutely love this one.
Now I'm more sad you're not going to run the Manchester Marathon with me.
Because Eric would totally be like, "Yay, I have a friend."
I'll try to rearrange the marathons. Let me look into it.
Don't
we'll
put
do
too
something
much
one
work
day.
into it.
You're faster than me. I mean, it will still be a lot of fun, but
Well, we'll just if he did, he would just have to do something cool during that one, like
Yeah.
I don't know, juggle. I don't fucking know.
I can see the
Yeah.
gears spinning. Wyatt, I can see the gears spinning. But Erika, why don't you ask him your question? Let's get to the.
All right. My big question that I have for you is we have a Spotify playlist, and we love to invite our guests to add something to it. But now knowing that you'll go into a race raw dogging with no music, is there a song that you would like to put on this playlist? It could be just anything at all that you're feeling at the moment.
I don't know if this is Kelly Clarkson, but it's in my mind, it's like a similar artist. What's the song that's like, "Fly like a bird, I want to run away"?
Nelly Furtado. Boom.
Yeah. What song
I'm really
is it?
good at that. I think it's "Fly Like a Bird," but it's Nelly Furtado.
Those types of songs, for whatever reason, it's like I'm just running and like I could be a 250-pound football player, or I could be like some girl in middle school.
Oh, I'm like a bird.
This
Oh,
song
sorry.
is gonna slap.
No, that's perfect.
It's all the.
So you
it's
have
the
like a list
positive-
of songs like this that's gonna work, and
Yeah, I've been
build you
asking
up.
people because like every day I'm trying to post like a new song on my daily runs, and so then like I'm trying
Mm-hmm.
to find new music all the time, and I think there's two types of music that you need. You need a playlist where you can like zone out. You know, it's like, all right, Pain Cave. I just need to be in the zone. That's like house
Mhm.
music, EDM, stuff like that.
absolutely.
Then there's like the, oh, I'm feeling good, right? It's like that's one for like, all right, I'm excited. Like, you know, it's 6 miles in, I'm feeling good. I'm gonna play this song. Then you get to like mile 18, you start playing the EDM. Those last 2 miles, you switch back and you're like, all right, now it's time for like, this is PR music.
There you go. There was one song that I wanted to put on repeat. I'm trying to find the name of it. I think it's Louis the Child. But like it just has that like EDM beat that I would just do like one step, two step, one step, two step. Like that's the only thing that kept me moving forward and not tipping over.
I'm a really big fan of Glass Animals as of like this year.
Love them.
Yeah. The Youth album, I think that's what it is. Or like the yellow background. Some
Mhm.
really good songs there. And then as well, Foster the People and Empire of the Sun. Is that the band?
I think so. I love the alternative rock too. It's been a while. Like I've kind of I gravitate towards like either pop music, like we're talking old school NSYNC, Britney Spears, like that kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Or I do so I'm older than you, and I grew up with like Fall Out Boy and Newfound Glory and that kind of like punk stuff, and that just is like my jam during these kind of races, like the long where because I have those lyrics. Those are the only things like that stick in my brain at this point because I forget a lot of shit, but those old school lyrics are just in there. So we're talking like Jimmy Eat World and I just like sing to myself as I go down these really long loops and shit. That's what sticks for me.
Another distinction there. Figure out if you're a words or a beats type of person. I can't listen to music with words because like I just focus too much on the word and then I'm not like present in the moment. I'm thinking. So like if you don't hear the words, then you can like have any song and the beat will just be like exciting. If you hear the words, you got to find songs that like are a little bit lower on the words or like it's just the vibe, whatever that's called. I don't really know how to like the beats, that type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tempo. Eric, we should do a ultra. Whenever you
One day.
Yeah, one day.
We will do it. We will do something, whether it's an ultra, a marathon, or a 5K, and we'll have an epic challenge and we'll get content. We'll put it all out there. I'm inspired by what you're doing. I love to see someone else do it, following a passion, a dream. And you're going to be the 50 States guy, brought to you by Chipotle. And
You are well on your way.
I want that Chipotle discount code so I can get my burrito bowls.
Oh yes,
Dude,
I love
this
Chipotle.
was so cool. I gotta admit, like 95% of this podcast is me. I plan the guests, I do the scheduling, I do the editing. The 5% that Erika does is getting even better guests. She got Neil Murphy. She just got you. She's gotten a few others, and it's just like, oh, we really need to talk to this guy. And I'm like, okay, let me see who this guy is.
See,
now.
there's one more that we have. I don't know when you were out on the Notch View course if you saw the Jester. Did you see him out there?
I did, yeah.
I spent many hours with him on the course this weekend, and I got to know him very well, and he's going to be hopefully a future guest of ours.
Well, does he have a mustache? Because all your epic guests have mustaches.
No, he doesn't.
And to finish my point, every time she's found a guest, she's hit it out of the park. So
Glad that I could be a fun guest on the podcast. This has been awesome. I really appreciate y'all like hyping me up, keeping me excited.
well, we're going to
Good.
get you back. We should get you back at the end of the year or the beginning of next year and hear what your next challenge is. We're going to have a few other podcasts by next year that friends of ours are going to host, and it's going to be called, I'm going to bleep it out if we haven't talked about it yet, Erika, but it's going to be called The Recrap. And we can have you on The Recrap with Tara Pterodactyl and Lindsay to hear about how you finished the year and what's next.
I love it.
All right.
It's going to be a blast because they are fantastic women and they are hilarious, and you're going to love them just as much as you hopefully love us. So
yeah, you're forever going to be part of our pod fam, man. This is super cool. You're going to be established. You're going to grow. You're going to build your foundation, man. I'm super excited for you. I'm excited to see what's next. So I don't want you to tell me. I want to be surprised. Our followers, our listeners, go check it out in the show notes. You'll find his Instagram for not just his running challenges, but his woodworking tables and everything. So check it out. It's beautiful. Thank you so much, dude.
Go get some sleep. You definitely have earned it. You've had a hella tough weekend. You did amazing things. You got to rest up for Idaho and the rest of your marathon. So go relax. Thank you for spending your time with us. I think you're awesome. And we'll be following your journey.
Thank y'all for having me. This was awesome. I loved it.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Wyatt Moss on the On the Runs podcast.
Wyatt, you freaking crazy kid, you. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Especially, we recorded right after we both finished the Notch View Ultra. And that was, I was exhausted during that video. I only assume you were too, but you just played it off so much better than I did.
We're talking like 12 hours after. Same day.
Literally. Yeah, same day. I had just gotten home the day before.
You both looked a little rough.
Well, he had finished that morning, so I mean, he was in the thick of it. So I felt like I needed probably a solid 48 extra hours of sleep in order to be normal, but he played it off well.
Yeah, you looked like you had you got home, you took a shower, you dried off. He looked like he just got out of the shower and he was still sweating on that rooftop in Boston. So cool.
Yep.
He was in Alaska yesterday. He hit Alaska up for one of his marathons.
I saw that. And Wyatt, if you're listening, I really hope that your ankle is okay. You got to be able to keep going for the rest of your marathons. I know he's got another one coming up this weekend. I think he's in like Sioux Falls, wherever that is. Something Dakota. One of the Dakotas.
Yeah, he's running out of time. He's got I was listening while editing and I'm like, dude, you're going to make it. Like, I think he has 23 left or something, maybe 20 now.
He's got some doubles. There's one,
right?
Like, I think he's doing the challenges, like the I-35 challenge and stuff.
There's some big travel in those doubles. It's That's like true. He's debating doing the new Boston one in New Hampshire and Jackson Hole the next day or vice versa. I mean, that's freaking Wyoming. How are you going to do that? Like, I'm like, maybe it was a different one in Jackson Hole, but yeah, that's a bit like I could understand. Maybe you do New Hampshire and then Connecticut the next day and you drive, or like New York and West Virginia. But
that's a little
Jackson
more
Hole, Wyoming, Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and New Hampshire. What?
Yeah.
Dude, I love it though. Keep doing it. Keep putting out the content. Keep doing it. I told him. He asked like, what crazy thing should I do for Alaska? I said, Alaska king crabs. Those king crab legs, like that's what you have to eat while running.
Well, I think he was crazy enough to do it on a bum ankle, or at least like the last 8 miles on a bum ankle.
That trail looked beautiful though.
Right?
Right.
I'll have to add these to my list. I gotta get out there.
Well, wait, you haven't done Alaska yet.
No, I have not.
Would it be that marathon? Like, are there many Alaskan marathons?
I know there's a few to choose from, but I honestly have no idea. I'm gonna have
I think it's got to be that one with that trail.
to do some
I will go.
research.
Could you wait a few years for me to go to that one?
Definitely.
All right, cool.
I don't have the money to go.
When's Hawaii going to happen?
That'll probably be my last one. I want to say that's what I heard Wyatt was doing last, because that's one in December. So
Yeah.
that's a great one to end on.
How many you have left?
Me?
You're doing,
God.
so for those who don't know, she has no timeline, but she wants to do a marathon in every state.
Marathon or
And
more.
she learned this year that you can't do 2 states in one marathon, but how many you got left?
Oh God, I think I'm only at 17 states. So I have my work cut out for me. But like I said, I don't have the timeline like Wyatt does. He's just trying to bang them all out in a year. I can't do that with my full-time job. And
You could.
oh God, I wish I had the freedom to roam.
Yeah, either one, you have Brandon support you full time, take a year off work,
I would
or
love
you do
to.
the Wyatt plan. You move in with your parents, you go to South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, and we can still do the pod because it's virtual.
True.
And you live with them and you just fly every week to a race. You could totally do this. And you'd get 2 weeks off, 52 weeks in a year, plan it strategically, you know?
Well, I wouldn't have to repeat. I'm definitely not doing them all in a year, but I would just
You
need to
could.
do the remaining 30 something.
Could you do an ultra every weekend throughout the year? That would be a challenge. Wyatt, I challenge you 1 year, ultra every weekend.
That could be fun. There are some really cool ultras.
Not every state, every weekend, just every weekend. But cool. You know how you could successfully do all these 50 marathons and like stay strong to do it? Strength training. Welcome to the club, Erika. Welcome to the Wolfpack.
Thank you. I was voted in. I was officially voted in. So I got to thank Jay and Chad for that.
They
you
were
like,
quick.
I don't think you are going to cut it, make the cut or be cut out for the group. And I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong.
Okay, let's see it. I mean, so
I
Erika
already
joins.
did some arm strength today, the past
There you
couple
go.
of days. I'm working on it.
Nice. Look at that. You had a little bump there on the bicep. Little bump, little baby bump.
I got a little,
Mhm.
little something.
Cool. Resistance training works. I get it. Cool. 1 rep is good. Good job. 1 rep.
Tunde is the best from Peloton. She
Okay.
kicks my ass when it comes to arms. Like your arms fall off basically when you do her strength.
For those of you who are listening and are like, what are they talking about? And maybe you didn't finish last week's episode because at the very end,
It
I'm
was a
talking about
long
my
one.
strength training tripod, and she was mad at it, include her. And I purposely didn't let her in this group because we've tried to stay, committed and do these challenges before, but it never works with the two of us. I needed somebody else. And I got my tripod of Jay Duncan and the Clydesdale runner, Chad Zimmer something. He's the man. Zimmerman. So Erika wanted in. And I said, it's up to them. And they voted you in. So welcome. I think we changed our name to the Wolfpack.
Mm-hmm.
So if we ever welcome somebody else into the group, we don't have to keep changing the name because it's like
Smart.
the table is 4, the plank is 4. But if we have 5, what are we? Like, are we a pentagon or something? So we're just the Wolfpack. Anyone wants to join in, you have to. The initiation is you have to howl like a wolf.
I just did mine, so I'm good.
I want to hear it again.
Ow. That was so
We
lame.
have fun.
Oh,
But yeah, welcome to the Wolfpack.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to commit to getting stronger
Mm-hmm.
and
It's been good so
stretching.
far.
I think maybe you needed your own stretching Wolfpack.
I'll just make you guys do it with me. I'll be like, all right, guys, who stretched today? Don't forget to stretch. Who stretched? That is the hardest part to do, honestly.
I mean, we just ran 5 miles. Did we stretch?
I stretched before because you were on the phone.
Yeah.
You did not, though.
I
don't
stretched
think.
before in the office, actually, because I had time to kill. I got dressed. I stretched.
Sure you did. No,
I
just
did.
kidding.
I promise. But did we stretch after? I think I did. I dropped the tailgate. And I put the leg up there and I leaned into it a little bit.
I definitely did not stretch enough post, but
Mhm.
that, like I said, it's something to improve on. I'll get better.
Well, I can't wait. I can't wait to see how this turns out. I'm excited.
Mhm.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
I mean, I gotta keep healthy. I gotta stretch and make sure that I'm ready because I saw a post the other day from Jason Green. He's the director of the race director. He's the race director for the Yeti Trail Runners, and my Yeti 100 in Virginia is coming up in just a few short weeks. I'm so freaking pumped. I just cannot wait to get back to Virginia to give it another shot because I swear to God I can do better on this Creeper Trail. and I get to see my Yeti friends again. I get to see Pat and Charlotte and Julia, and I get to meet Brian. We're all staying in a house together. It's going to be a freaking blast. I mean, I'm just so pumped. You ever be like, are you ever just so excited to get something out of the way? Like you're just ready? I'm ready.
No, I get more excited knowing it's
No.
coming, not to get it out of the way, but knowing it's coming. Like I'm going to Tucson soon. I'm excited for that. Hannah's wedding is in, that's February school vacation week. Like, I'm like, that's coming. It's only a few months away, you know?
Right.
And that's much more than a few months. But like I bought the plane tickets the other day. Boom. You don't want to know how much, but
A lot.
I mean, I got a direct flight. I wasn't taking like 2 layovers to save $1,000, but
Gotcha.
I get excited. I'm like, oh, something's coming up. I can't wait. Even if it's months away, I'm like, it's really close. So I can't
just
wait
wanna
to get out of the
do
way.
it.
I'm the
Oh.
opposite.
Yep. I'm just, the anticipation is killing me. I'm ready to just give it another go. And the wait is just going to kill me.
Oh,
But
so
You're
yeah.
going to love this. I just
Mhm.
heard thunder again. Am I going to freaking lose power? I better not.
I drove coming back from a run. I drove through like a massive rainstorm on the highway.
Did you? I'm
And
nervous
it's funny,
now.
like I left Nashua. I'm in Merrimack. It's downpouring, and I can see the blue skies in front of me in Manchester.
Okay. Yeah.
It was weird because like I don't see the clouds, but it was downpouring, like massive downpour.
Yeah. Right now, like we haven't had any rain since you left, but I'm hearing the thunder roll in. It's getting pretty dark, and now I am nervous. Like I don't know what Nashua's going to throw at me. Fingers crossed that our interview that we have next goes without a hitch. But at
Do you
least
have
I know
the lantern ready?
I do have it. I have it close by, but I do
Uh-huh.
know that the computer is always watching.
I think it is. I think you're always recording until it stopped when you pulled the computer, like you made it go flat. You took the top down.
Yep. I will. I know what to do now, and I will jump right in because I did re-download Riverside. So that was what took so long last time.
Very cool.
Oh,
Very
fun.
cool.
Fun.
Well, let me tell you something that's really cool, and I'm
Do it.
excited. I found a 5-star review.
We got another one?
Yeah, but I found it. I
How'd
never
you find
find
it?
them.
How'd you find it?
I was Googling stuff about Apple Podcasts because I'm going to have to get the future podcast that we'll be producing on Apple. And remember how difficult it was to get this podcast on Apple?
I think I did it.
You did it like we're in double-digit episodes. Like
Yeah,
the whole
that's
approval
true.
process and you know,
We had to-
fruit makes it so hard.
The fruit phone. Yeah.
The fruit.
We figured it out, but I think I can help you out if I need to.
I'm going to need it, but I'm going to practice with Adeline. So we're going to actually record this week, talk about her triathlon and her play that she just did. And she was Toto. She was amazing.
Congratulations
But
to
all right.
her, by the way. That's so exciting.
She aced her lines. Her lines are amazing. I know them too by heart. You ready?
Sure.
Actually, she had one funny line where she's like, Dorothy's like, "Where are we?" And Toto goes, like somewhere over the rainbow. It was
That's
so
cute.
good.
Oh,
The funny part was, so Ashley and I have to go on separate days because I have to stay with the boys and then she has to stay with the boys. Actually, she
True.
had to work, so I had to get a babysitter.
oh
So
really?
she went on Saturday day, the afternoon show, and she got in trouble for
Why?
video recording.
Oh, she's not allowed.
Yeah, they walked up and like,
Oh,
no cameras.
That's a
Well, the problem is
no-no.
you can't sit so close up front with the camera and record. Everyone can see. Sit at least like 7 rows back to the side and no one knows. The best row, front row balcony.
Oh yeah. Oh, I
Palace
love
Theater,
sitting
that's the
there.
best row.
Yep.
Yeah.
I actually like sitting on the balcony for like concerts and stuff. That way you can actually sit and you don't have to stand in like general
Yeah.
admission.
Well, the
And
front
see
row
everything
at the
great.
garden and the balcony, the whole entire front row, that's the best seat in the house. Doesn't matter where you're sitting. It's the best seat in the house. Maybe the last row of the lower lodge.
Well, I hope Ashley learned her lesson and won't record anymore. But
No, I
there
guarantee
will be
you
more
she did
plays
not.
from Adeline. I know that much. She's
Oh, yeah.
she's a little
Yeah,
acting
I
queen.
think the other one coming up, there's a whole list and there's like half of them we can do around the dance and the cheer schedule. I think one of them, but it's in June. I'm excited. It's Greece.
Oh, cute.
Greece will be cool. But all right, back to our review. I found it, so I'm going to read it. I hope I'm going to do this. But we got 5 stars just the other day on the 12th of August from
fun.
Silly Caitlin. What a cool name. Hey, Caitlin, what's up? All right. Funny and entertaining. I stumbled upon On the Runs about a year ago while searching for podcasts that covered New England running content. Eric and Erika are genuine and funny, and I've enjoyed continuing to listen to the episodes on long drives and runs. Your most recent episode interviewing Jay, the race director from Anchor Down, was just what I needed to hear to get me even more pumped the day before I attempted my first race, which was a blast, by the way. I don't know if she's saying her first race of any kind or like
her first Anchor Down?
Was she at Anchor Down? Is that what you're saying?
Know.
But I'm glad it was a blast. So that's awesome, Caitlin. Keep up the good work and keep the Code Brown stories coming. I hope I succeeded with that in the intro when we talked about Nala's Code Brown. That was great.
Oh,
I have a confession to make.
Mm-hmm.
I had a Code Brown recently, and I forgot to mention it because we were on our break, but I had a Code Brown on my birthday.
What'd you do?
I was not prepared. I was running on the Rockingham Rail Trail near Candia.
Yeah.
And all the kids were at this lake, and I went for my run, and I couldn't make it back. And there was this perfect spot. Like I go 15 feet off the trail. It was like a side trail, and I wasn't prepared. So I took my shirt off, and I did what I did when I was with you and Rachel. If you go back that far, I remember, right? And so
Did you have to go back and get it?
I was going to find a spot to leave my shirt and go back and get it. And as I'm walking back to the trail, this dog shows right up. And then I hear some woman who's walking the dog like, get all nervous, like, oh my God, what did she see? Is it an animal or something? It was me. I couldn't just leave my shirt. So I had to carry it the whole entire way back.
Oh, gross.
It wasn't that gross. It wasn't that gross. It was one small spot. It took care of what I needed. And I rolled it up, and then I cleaned it, and it was good as new. So you learn how to clean that shit when you have kids. It's like you don't throw it away.
It's still a
maybe
great
you do,
story,
maybe you
though.
don't. I don't know. Whoever's listening,
what color shirt was it?
It was the one I wore today.
Are you serious?
Yeah, but you couldn't tell, right? You had no clue.
I guess not, and it was bright yellow too. So I'm shocked.
I think it's more like neon green. I know. I seriously thought it was a goner. Maybe you know what?
I'm at a loss for words. I don't know.
You know what? It wasn't, because I wore this year's shirt today, and it wasn't this year's shirt. It was the other one that was green. Because there's two.
Yeah, that one was very yellow. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
figures. I got I took a short video during our run, and it was you had your tarp off, so you didn't even have your shirt on.
Yeah, well, it was sweaty. It was muggy, like we said.
I
But
know,
I think
know.
we got it. We got to cut this loose. We got our new guest coming on soon.
That's
She's gonna
right.
be hopping in here in about 3 minutes. Guys, we love you. Thank you. Support the pod. Go check us out on Instagram, YouTube, Threads, Facebook, TikTok with Terra Pterodactyl is crushing it. If you let us know what you think about the special episode. Do we give that a number, by the way? Do we give your Olympic episode a number? Is it 121?
I don't know.
I think
you tell me.
I think it's worthy of it.
Okay.
You just didn't open it up with the episode number, but I think it's worthy.
Okay.
But guys, like, you just heard us talk about that review. When we find them, we'll read them. And if you write one, send it to us. It's awesome. It's so cool to hear. Like, I have no clue who you are, Caitlin, so send me a DM. Shoot me a DM, Caitlin.
Thank you, Caitlin.
You're the best. One last note you have here in the notes is pod fan birthdays. Happy birthday, Jared, Janine, and Ainsley. We love you. You're awesome. Another lap around the sun. I hope you didn't have a Code Brown like I did, but we all survive. It buffs out. Erika, you're awesome. And as I always say, don't fear the Code Brown.
Thank you guys for listening. We know this was another long one, but a fun one. We hope you guys take care of yourselves. Have an awesome week. And don't forget to stretch.
3, 2, 1.
I hope everybody takes care of your ankles. I don't know where I was going with this.
Ankles.
I'm talking about Wyatt.
Ah.
How do I want to end this?